Hey guys, this is Blake Kitchens with Hound Hogs Barbecue, and welcome back to the world of rubs. This is episode 3, and today we're doing something special. We've got Big D's Stakeout that we're doing today. We met Rodney and Christy on the circuit. Actually, the first time we met them was when Brianna got her first place ticket, and they were some of the nicest people out there. I didn't even know they had a rub out at the time, but apparently this is Rodney's secret recipe from what I've read on the back of the bottle, and they're selling it with Big D. Danny, he's a barbecue champion, so he's got a really big name out there, and so they created this rub, and it's specifically for steaks. Now, one thing I noticed when I tasted this out of hand, let's kind of look at the ingredients on here. You got your typical salt, sugar, spices. There was this unique flavor that was in there, and what it is there's Worcestershire powder and there's actually a little bit of smoke powder. Okay, now I'll be honest with you. When I hear the word smoke powder, I think liquid smoke, and I'm like, not so sure about it. But when you taste it, it tastes really good. And I actually had that conversation with a guy, and I asked him, I said, look, what's the deal with this thing having smoke powder in it? He said, well, whether it's got it in it or not, he's gotten multiple first place wins this year with this rub. And so it does really well on the competition circuit. So as far as flavor goes, I would say this is not a base layer rub. This would be considered a flavor pop rub. This would be kind of something you want to center your other rubs around. And so when you open it up, it's got a medium fine texture to it. Nothing too crazy. No, probably not a medium fine, more of a medium. It's not coarse, but it's also not very fine. I would probably have a little bit bigger holes in my shaker than I would use for maybe a steak shake or something like that. But let's go ahead and taste it and see what we think. I get that little bit of sweet, get that savory Worcestershire powder, and then that smoke kind of follows in behind it. And then it leaves with a little bit of a back end burn. And so it's pretty good. I would probably not use this solely on a steak by itself, but for today's purposes, I don't want to add anything else in because I want it to see how it stands on its own. And so we're going to get this thing on this steak, and we're going to season it up, get it on the grill, and then we're going to taste it and see how it does. So let's get to it. All right, so we got it cooked. We got it put on the grill. Everything looks good. The color on it's pretty good. It's not quite as red as I typically like the color of my steaks, but once again, I would also not be using this for a color rub, so that's up to you guys. Let's see how this thing tastes. I'm gonna try to get me a good bite of the spinalis here. Not too big of a bite. I get a little bit of that kick on the back end. It's got a savory flavor. It's actually saltier than I expected, not overly salty. I thought about adding a salt rub with this, but then I was like, I shouldn't do that because I want to see how the rub stands on its own. That's actually really good. You know, 1 or 2 more layers with that, and I can see why this thing has won so much. I mean, I think Christy's had an amazing year so far this year, and they're definitely using this stuff. So I actually do like it. I'm trying now to think about how I can incorporate it into my recipe. If you're looking for a good flavor pop, like a good flavor rub, not like a base layer rub, not a color rub, that's what this would be. And so I think it's a good option for you. As always, guys, we want you to support the smaller cooks, the guys who are out here making small batches of rubs. I know Rodney and Christy and Danny, they're doing a really good job with this rub, and they're also really genuine good people, and so we ask that you just go check those out. But yeah, that's it for us today. As always, go out and cook something new.